Well, good afternoon. We're excited for game week. Started our prep for Nicholls State probably about a week ago, mixing in some scout team work with some K-State stuff still, and then turned our focus mainly to those guys probably last Thursday. So most of the game plan is in. We're just kind of refining some things. We still need the remaining practices we have over the next 3 days to make sure that we're just getting guys in the right position and continuing to refine some of the things, red zone stuff, some situational things, goal line, third down, 2 minute, those things over the next few days. But I know the guys are excited about hitting somebody else and playing somebody different. But as I told them yesterday, we still have to do our work and attack each day and continue to stack good days here. Saturday will get here soon enough. So open up for questions.
Coach, you entered camp with a few open scholarships around this time of the year. A lot of walk-ons do go on scholarship. Do you have any names that you've put on your able to share at this point in
just
time?
trying to think off the top of my head. Let's see, Landry Weber, we put on aid. Noah Johnson, we put on aid, and Tyler Burns, we put back on aid.
Coach, team captains were named a few days ago. You've personally had some great leaders through the years. How do you define leadership, and what are the characteristics you look for?
Well, I want guys that can challenge their peers and challenge their brothers, and sometimes they make the unpopular decision, but it's the one that's the right for the team, and it's the guys that I think, as I've seen through, whether it's years of coaching or just in this past year, I saw what some of these guys did from a leadership standpoint in the winter when it was new for everybody, to the spring when it was new for everybody, through the summer and fall. Those guys, they make everybody around them better. I look for servant leaders, which is somebody that isn't worried about his statistics, so to speak. He's worried about making sure everybody around him is better, whether that's on the field, off the field. And I think we have some great captains this year.
And then, with Skylar, each of your last two quarterbacks each had a tremendous amount of success. How would you define a successful season for Skylar during his first season in your system?
Just continuing to grow every game. I think that's the biggest thing. Is I've been really pleased with his progress he's made so far, in the leaps he's made from spring to summer to fall. The amount of things he's able to process in the classroom, and taking that in the classroom out onto the field, and I just think every week he's going to feel more and more comfortable, and every week I think we're going to put more and more on his plate. So I don't have anything statistically or anything. I think him getting more and more comfortable on a week-to-week basis, and him or us being allowed to add more things to his plate is going to determine his success.
Coach, being that it is game one, not just for the season, but for these guys in your system, how much do you anticipate in terms of growing pains, getting guys in the right spot, all that kind of thing?
You always worry about it in the first game. I think everybody does, from false starts to delay of games to somebody jumping off sides to just having to call timeout because we don't have something right. We've tried to replicate as many of those things as we can in practice, but there's going to be some anxiety, and so some kids are going to make mistakes, and I think that's the thing that our coaches have talked about is, we need to be patient. We're still only, really a little over about 40 practices with these guys, and not even 40 practices, so we're going to have some issues, and we'll get those things ironed out. But I think for us not to show that we're anxious or have anxiety, I think we'll make the kids a little bit more at ease as well. But I also know that I don't want to take that excitement away. I don't want to take that emotion away of that first game. And so, somebody makes an aggressive penalty on the first game, we're gonna learn from those things and continue to be teaching moments.
About Josh Youngblood too. I know he's not technically on the depth chart there at receiver, but is he someone you still anticipate playing quite a bit?
Yeah, I see him in the mix of 6 or 7 guys. Whether you put it too deep for us as a wide receiver or tight end, we've always played a lot of those guys anyway. So I would envision Josh playing this week. Yes.
You spent a lot of years as the hunter of this kind of matchup with the FCS Power 5 matchup. How's it feel to be on the other side of this?
I I don't know because I've never been here before, but in the same respect, I know what those teams are going through, and I know that you prepare all summer, all fall camp for your opportunities to play an FBS opponent, and we talked about that with the team, that this is a big opportunity for Nicholls, but in the same respect, I think it's a really big opportunity for our players at Kansas State to put their best foot forward in what we hope to be a really successful season. And so I try not to get caught up into one game's any more important than another, but this is the game we're at, and I know we're going to get Nicholls' best. And when you have a quarterback like they have with the amount of experience, you're not going to rattle this guy. So you have to do a great job of showing different looks and being able to pressure and being able to play coverage and just let the game flow happen as it does. But we, by no means are our guys going to overlook Nicholls.
Well, let's stay on that. What's Nicholls present offensively as a total?
A great quarterback, a guy that I have a ton of respect for. I've watched him play. The last couple of years I've watched him play because we've played teams that they've played in the playoffs. And so he's got a great bunch of moxie. He's an athletic guy, not a very big guy, but he plays big. I mean, he runs the ball extremely well. He throws it with accuracy. He just knows their system so well. And so I don't think, the environment's going to be great, and we need our fans to be really loud, especially on third down. But this guy's seen an awful lot, and so we have to be really precise on our coverages and really precise on our looks because I think he's seen an awful lot of football.
Describe Nicholls defensively.
I think they're going to be aggressive. They're going to give you a lot of different pictures, a lot of different blitz looks. They're going to try to show you the same picture and then all of a sudden play coverage out of it. Next time, pressure out of it. I like a number of their returning players they have, whether it's secondary linebacker or D-line. They're very active. They don't give up the explosive play, and that's something that we have to find ways to find a few of those explosive plays. We can methodically move the ball down the field. We believe we can, but we need to have some explosive plays as well.
Nick Leonard's listed at tight end and fullback in the depth chart. Can you just, tell us exactly what you are expecting out of him game one?
To play tight end and play fullback. But all those guys, if you look at us over the years, I mean, it didn't matter. Our guys have to be able to be multiple spots. And when I say that he's going to be an on-the-ball land tight end, he's going to be in the backfield. He may be flexed out. But I could go through that list of tight ends and fullbacks that we would list on our depth chart. They have to be able to do all those things in Coach Mess's system and to be versatile. And so, those guys, the more that they can do, the better off our offense will be.
You also go into some detail about how Kyle Ball had such a good preseason camp.
Yeah, I was excited for Kyle because he missed so much football in the spring coming off of injury. He didn't get an opportunity to participate, so I told him I didn't know a whole lot about him from a player. I knew about him as a person. They don't come much better than Kyle, but he's had a great camp. He's healthy. He's playing fast. He's a really smart player, but he's also very, very aggressive, very strong, excellent pass rusher, but can play the run. He's a complete defensive end. That's what I really like about Kyle. He can play all the downs.
The safety position's a little bit unique right now, given that Wayne is such a young guy, and then on the other side you've got Denzel, who's older and really smart and experienced. How has he been able to A, direct this defense, Denzel, and then B, help out Wayne as he learns?
Well, I think Wayne might know as much about football as anybody we have on defense. And Wayne is somebody that jumped out to me right away in the spring, that a real cerebral guy that just gets the game. He's one of those guys that is a football junkie that understands it. And so I think it'll help having Denzel that's played a bunch of football, maybe to calm his nerves a little bit or things. But from the standpoint of understanding what we're doing defensively, I think they're all pretty equal coming in because none of them knew what our systems were about. And Wayne's picked it up probably as well as anybody we have on defense. And he'll be a leader for us back there. And that's something that as a young player, you sometimes say, boy, I don't know if you want a young guy leading a back end, so to speak. This kid's got that. He's got that it factor. Wayne has that it factor, and the players know it too. I mean, you see that kid flying around making plays. I expect a really big season out of Wayne.
How is Denzel doing back there then in terms of having learned the system now? How's he
Done really well. We played him at the strong safety where Wayne's been playing for 3/4 of spring ball, and now we've got him settled in at free safety, which is a more comfortable position for him, more of what he probably played last year, and he's done a really nice job. Really pleased with the growth that Denzel's made from spring to summer to fall. You can tell he's put an awful lot of effort in and work on his own to learn the system, to watch film, to visit with Coach Klieman so that he feels really comfortable. I think Denzel's playing really fast right now. And the other thing, I'm learning about Denzel, he's healthy. And he's not always been that way. And he's really healthy right now. When he's healthy, he's playing with a lot of confidence.
Last time we talked to Skyler, he really raved about what he's seen from Joe Irvin, about how well he's picked up the offense, especially how well he picks up blocks for a freshman. What have you seen from him this camp?
He's really wise beyond his years for a freshman. The game has slowed down for him. He's still not a guy that we're going to play 50 snaps back there. We have too much talent at the running back spot. He'll have a spot, and where that is will still be determined because Mess and the guys are still kind of going through the plan. But as far as understanding the blocking schemes and understanding the protection, I think he's done a really good job, and he's got a great knack to have some vision in and out of breaks and in and out of the hole to be able to hit some things really quickly. And then he's got really good hands out of the backfield. So we'll play an awful lot of running backs. We've talked about this at length before, but whether or not Joe plays a lot in the first game or a little in the first game is still to be determined, but I'm excited about his progress.
And then at least on the depth chart with both Nick and John kind of listed as co-number twos, is it like that's something you want to have maybe decided by the end of practice this week, or more like we're not going to know till we throw them both in a live game?
We're not going to know. We have some things. We think both of them have different skill sets, and both of them are doing things well enough that they both deserve the opportunity to take equal reps. And at a practice, obviously Skyler takes the 1 reps, and then we split up those 2 reps. Now it's been great because of the double reps. They've been able to get a ton of opportunities, but that'll stay fluid. That'll be a work in progress until they have an opportunity to compete.
For the last 8 months now, you've spoken openly about continuing the legacy of excellence that is Kansas State football. And I'm curious on your first game week, what this opportunity means to you now that you've allowed this to sink in.
I'll let you know Saturday at 6 o'clock. I mean, there's so many things that you have to do as a head coach in a place that's unfamiliar to you as far as how it goes, how we go about preparation and pregame warm-ups and things we're doing at the hotel and stuff that I'm caught up in everything administratively that I want to get squared away with Hank, that I'm excited. I'm thrilled to be able to, obviously, to be the head coach here, to run out of the tunnel, and I can't wait for that. But I'm no different than the guys. I can't worry about Saturday. I got to worry about today and making sure that we have a great practice, making sure that our guys are on point with our red zone period today and our third down period. But I think that's what keeps all of us humble, and it keeps all of us on edge, is the fact that let's just handle Tuesday. Let's attack Tuesday and stack Tuesday on top of Monday. Monday was a pretty good practice, which typically the first day of school is tough to have a really good practice. I was really pleased with the guys, with the effort and energy that came out Monday. Now let's go attack Tuesday, and we'll keep working through that week.
Coach, I know you can't quite duplicate the team entrance you had at North Dakota State because there's not a dome here, but do you want that to be a spectacle when the team hits the field on Saturday?
I hope so. I hope the guys are excited about it. Once again, this is a player's game, and they've had some input into what we're doing too. And I think that's important because, this is – it doesn't matter how it doesn't matter how I perform or the coaches perform. We have our jobs to do on Saturday, but it's the players that have the biggest job, and it's the players' game, and I want those guys to have – excitement and energy when they're coming out, and I know they will. And we've talked about some things, but we'll kind of let that unfold on Saturday.
Chris, how would you describe the attitude of this defense, and do you have a good tackling defense, or can you tell yet?
You know, I love the attitude of our defense, and it's let's be honest, it starts with Coach Hayes, you know, because he has an infectious energy that it's the same whether it's a Monday at practice or a Friday at practice. That's what I was so excited about getting Scotty here, and something that I remember about Coach Hayes is, you know, he's excited about this game every day, all the time, and so the kids see that, and then they get the energy and excitement. Tackling something that you always worry about in the first game, because we're not hitting every day in practice. You can't. You know, we're not tackling to the ground every day in practice. We're simulating drills that we're running through our correct leverage. And if you run through your correct leverage, you're gonna be a really good tackling team. If you hesitate and you cut somebody off or don't keep the cup in what we talk about in our tackling leverage, then you're gonna struggle. I've been pleased because we have so many good running backs, and we brought 8 running backs into camp, and we filter them in and out, whether it's been K-State versus K-State stuff or scout team stuff. We have really good backs that challenge us, especially in the secondary and linebackers that have the most difficult tackles. And so, you know, we're planning on being a really good tackling team, but I know that that's a work in progress, is just the way practices go anymore.
You mentioned 6 or 7 wide receivers being in the mix. Is Sebastian Taylor one of those right now?
You bet. Yeah, he'll be a big part of the package in the game plan, and you know, just it'll all depend on what personnel groups we have. But been excited about what Sebastian's done. He's had a really good camp and continues to gain confidence, and he's such a mismatch because of his size. Not only his height, but he's a strong, physical guy that I'm excited, because I think he's going to have a really big year.
Do you have any rituals on game day?
Not really. I try to get a workout in if I can. But no, I don't. I mean, I think the guys will learn, and that's why this whole week is, you know, I want to ask the players, what rituals do they have? I don't want to bug what they have. I want to keep the things that they think are really important. We're going to keep those things. Some things that I think are really important, we're going to implement those things. But that's why it's a collective effort between really the leadership council and the captains and myself of trying to eliminate the anxiety and have fun. I mean, shoot, we only get 12 of these opportunities every year. We better go tee it up and have a good time.
Coach, you'd said something about working through with your staff and looking at true freshmen maybe to use on a week-to-week basis. I understand that, you know, personnel and formations would impact it, but do you have a general number of how many you think could maybe be used this week? I would say it'll be smaller probably this week, under 6 probably this week. You know, I think Josh is in there. Joe could be in there. Jackson could be in there a little bit. And then there's some other guys that we're still working in that we haven't had practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I want to see how close they are from a special team standpoint.
Coach, a topic of conversation around this team was how they'll handle themselves whenever the lights turn on Saturdays. With this being game week, looking forward, what do you expect to see out of your team on Saturday?
I expect the seniors that have played an awful lot of Big 12 football to really shine when the lights come on. I really do. And I expect those same guys to handle the young guys that haven't with great energy for those kids, and to let them know that they belong on this stage, and that they're there to help them. I mean, this is a sport where you better rely on your brother next to you. And I've been really pleased because I think we have a really close-knit group of guys, and they've encouraged one another. And there's going to be some freshmen that are going to make a mistake, or sophomores that haven't played, and that's football. They're going to make mistakes. As coaches, we're going to make mistakes. We just can't make the big mistake, and we have to make sure that we're able to correct that mistake, and so that the kid or the coach doesn't feel like, oh boy, I made that big error. Because we have some guys that can make plays that are young players that just need the opportunity, and then confidence always breeds a lot of self-taught abilities to say, you know, I can do this. And there's a lot of guys that feel they can. They've just got to get on that stage, have success, and say, yeah, I belong at this level.
I know know there are certainly some people who maybe look at this game and say FCS opponent, K-State should win easy. With all your experience down there, what would you say?
I think nobody can say that anymore. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think that's said anymore. I really don't. You can say what you want about, it's an FCS against, Appalachian State started this thing a long time ago. They went and beat Michigan at their own game. And I've been a part of a number of those things where you're in that locker room and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is mano a mano, me against the guy across from you. And I don't think that's said anymore. And I talk to the guys about playing Nicholls State. I talk to the guys about playing a quarterback that's been there going on his 4th year. I talk about playing a team that is used to winning, that has that pedigree of expecting to win. I don't talk about we're playing an FCS team. That just doesn't get talked about. You talk about the task at hand and the opponent you have, and there's too many good football players across the country for people to worry about divisions and level of play.
This is the first year going back to team captains. None of these team captains had previously been, official team captains before. Have you been able to gain a sense of the personality of these guys just as they, become leaders and emerge as leaders of this team and what they're like to deal with?
We haven't had many captains meetings yet. We've had all leadership council meetings, and now we'll transition to captains meetings. But I just see the way they interact with their peers and their teammates. It was pretty evident to me that and it's all team voted on. No coaches vote on it. We have the team vote, and then we take it from there. It was pretty evident that the guys in the room had a great amount of respect for the 7 guys we did name.
When we talked to Eli last week, and I asked him about, who's the vocal leader on defense? Last year it was Duke Shelley. He's gone. He mentioned, that was J-Ball, and he's still in practice, but that's not going to help on game days because he's not going to be on the field. So do you have a guy yet you've used your defensive vocal leader?
No, it's a work in progress. It should be all of them. Eli's going to be one that we're going to count on. It's got to be Trey Deshawn. It's got to be Reggie. It's got to be Wyatt. It's got to be Wayne. It's got to be Walt. It's got to be AJ. I'm excited because we have a number of guys. It's got to be Denzel. There's so many guys that it can be, but they have to feed off each other, and maybe it's segmented a little bit too. Maybe somebody controls the DBs, linebackers, and defensive line. But we'll find out who the alpha guy is out there. You're right. Justin Hughes was that guy throughout spring ball, and it was so late when he got injured that we're still trying to identify.
And then I saw that Jerron is listed as a starting nickel guy. What can you tell us about him? He's not a guy who's necessarily played a ton, so he's not someone I think a lot of fans and people necessarily know about.
I've been really pleased with how well he's understood our system. It goes back to even things we were talking about with Wayne. Jerron really gets the game, understands what we're doing. Jonathan Durham's going to play as well there. I think both of them have had really good camps, and I'm excited that we have depth at that position. Both I think are really good football players. Both are going to play a lot of special teams for us. And, I wasn't worried about who had played, who hadn't played. He's kind of risen to the top as being one of our best guys. And so I'm excited to watch and see what he can do.
I guess I'll ask it then.
Okay.
What did Phillip Brooks do to separate himself as basically the primary return guy for both of those units?
Consistency. I think catching the football is one. He's got a knack back there of just finding open space, whether it's on punt D or on kickoff return. He just has a knack for being patient and finding the seams, and then once he does hit it, he hits it hard. And I think he's got a lot of confidence too, and that's what you're always looking for on a punt returner or a kick returner, is somebody that wants the ball in their hands and is confident to say, just give me a crease. We've spent an awful lot of time on the return units this fall camp, and I'm excited to see what Phillip can do.